Welcome to CEO Bros After Hours. Now, new and improved with your new hosts, brothers, Peyton and Eli Manning.
Season 2.
Hey, season 2. Hey, we gotta be excited about the new.
We made it.
The new studio.
We made it. Now, there's a problem. For those of you who saw the end of season 1, we ended with the cliffhanger that I was going to have the Manning brothers replace these two brothers.
How'd that turn out, man? I don't know if I'd call it a cliffhanger, and I don't think I'd call it more of a coup.
For those of you who cliffhanger, really,
there were a lot of rumors. It was rampant on the internet.
Both start with the C. So for those of you expecting the Manning brothers, small little hiccup. They never responded.
What about the Baldwins?
Didn't respond. And there are multiple Baldwins.
The Bushes.
Jeb and George did not respond. No.
Even Billy Baldwin. Huh?
Billy Baldwin did not respond.
And the Harbaughs.
Harbaugh brothers did not respond. I know they got a lot going on right now. Now, I did have some brothers respond. My brothers. But they died on the vine. They were not interested.
Yeah, not as good looking.
So welcome back to so happy to have you both back.
Yeah.
So happy to have you both back for season 2.
Beautiful. And we're in a different studio.
Different studio. So studio.
Excited to be Studio A.
Studio A, officially Studio
versus
A.
Studio G.
You got a pool table here at Studio A. I love that.
I mean,
do you want to call out all the things no one can see?
More importantly, there's cocktails.
I'm sure we'll make our way over there at some point during an episode.
Cocktails here as there was in Studio G.
So what's similar?
You'll be invoiced for everything you guys have been drinking, by the way. You guys
we still want some things that are the same. Are number one, please hit that subscribe button. That's still the same. We want you to follow us. It's free, but we want you to get all the episodes downloaded to you automatically. Cocktails are still the same.
Yes, please have your cocktails ready.
Some differences will be founders. What did you want to
focus?
Focus.
I think,
founders.
Unless we come up with a better
which is
name.
what? How would you explain what we want to do?
So, since we talk to so many entrepreneurs and founders of businesses, we want to get more of that, but it's hard to do it in a 30-minute show. So we're going to do one-on-one interviews with founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and we're going to publish them on our channel, and then we'll use clips in our weekly podcast. So if anybody out there has an interesting business, an interesting story, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'll do a 25-minute, 30-minute interview. You can use the clips yourself.
You're not going to be sending them a consulting bill on.
No bills. It's like subscribing.
It's
no invoices, charge.
No
it's just
bills.
for the.
It's a free 20-minute conversation. To talk about their
it's
business.
actually not a consultation. Remember, I don't really help people.
So don't ask me for advice or guidance or coaching, because we know that Brian will not ask
He's not
coaching, guidance, or leadership.
It's really just because we talked in a recent episode about different business models and breaking down how there's so many different ways people make money out there, and it's so interesting. I think it would be helpful for entrepreneurs to hear other entrepreneur stories.
And also, no matter where you are in the journey, we want to see if you're in the beginning. We want the different stages to see where you're at. What pain points are you at? What growth bursts are you at to be at? Bring those to us. We'd love to see what those look like and kind of have a founders.
I wasn't in the prep meeting, so I have no idea. How did we decide to start season 2?
I thought what would be great to talk about season 2. We spent a lot of time helping entrepreneurs get going. Season 1, year 1 on what to do. We should focus on year 2. Now, it's been a full year you're in business. You're going to your second year. I would have to imagine that there are pitfalls. I myself am curious on what's the mindset. Are you still as aggressive as you are in your first year as your second year? So I would start second year. When I say that to you, what do you think of for pitfalls and reminders and best practices?
Most of the lessons I've learned have been hard.
Well, it's not just selling a product, it's selling anything.
My mom came home and said, I heard they're having clown college auditions, and I told my mom, good luck, go get them.
Time to catch up with the CEO Bros After Hours. The conversation continues.
That's appropriate for us starting our second season, talking about second year.
What did we learn? Yeah, what did we learn in the first season? Here, well, let's talk about the podcast. What did we learn? I mean, we picked up quite a bit of subscribers. Hey, nothing. No, I mean, listen, for the 3,500 subscribers out there, 140, 150,000 views, and everybody that's made comments and reached us via email. It's been great. So we're learning about what content is applicable, what content hits, what doesn't.
Well, I think the biggest thing we learned too is that we started with an hour or so. We said, let's go longer. And we're finding that the shorter version is more impactful. The energy's still high.
Get to the point, figure out what it is, what's the driving lesson or a key theme or story or, anything that can help businesses in a shorter amount of time. So that's what we're focusing on.
We realized in other studios, too hard to get up during an episode and refill our drinks.
Yes,
So we've
that is a
moved to
challenge.
new
Yes.
studio.
And we have a bathroom even closer than the other one. So it's good.
But I think to your point, Matt, year 2 is a lot different. I mean, it's been a long time for me since we were in year 2. But if you think about it, year 1, everything's brand new.
Yeah.
It's like every day is a new adventure and a new, result. When you get to year 2, now it's rinse and repeat. And I think the key is kind of what Brad said. You've got to learn what worked in year 1, what didn't work in year 2, because now you want to do more of the stuff that worked, less of the stuff that didn't, obviously. So hopefully you've kept track, because you're running so hard in that first year and you're just doing this and doing that. All of a sudden you come to year 2 and you're like, okay, it's February again. What did we do last February? Did that work? Didn't it work? What are we going to do this year? How are we going to do it better? And there's a lot of other implications. But
I think you settle in and you figure out that you get distracted a lot year 1 because there's things that are working, things aren't working, and you feel like, that's the bright, shiny thing, so I should run after that. But the reality is, why did you start the business in the first place? What was the key driver to your product or service? And I've always said, protect the core or stay on the core theme, the core message. So what were you trying to do when you established your business year 1? And now you have some baselines established, right? I mean, you've seen
that's big.
You have some things that worked throughout year 1, things that didn't work year 1. You saw money that you potentially spent on marketing, money you spent on advertising worked. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. Maybe you hired an employee, it worked out, didn't work out. So you start to gather those baselines and figure out, all right, how do I now pivot? How do I recalibrate? How do I set up for season 2 or year 2 in business and feed upon the things that were working, right? And build upon that. But you got to get back to what was the core of what did you start the business for in the first place? And I think a lot of times, so I guess one lesson for me would be stay away from distractions, stay away from the noise, get back to what got you started in the first place and put all the energy there.
Yeah. And I think, so much changes from day 1 to, month 13. Your revenues hopefully are going up every month. If they're not, maybe you quit. I think a lot of people, when they start a new business.
Did you say quit or did you quit?
Yeah, no, quit. Because I think a lot of people give themselves 12 months. They say, okay, I'm going to give this business 12 months.
I think there's a lot of businesses that don't even give themselves time. I think as soon as it starts to get challenging and they start to say, well, this is really difficult, I think a lot of people throw in the towel. And the reality is, you can't throw in the towel. That's when the hard way, when the tough gets going, the going gets tough. I mean, so many people throw in so early, and I think you can't do it because remember, if you're establishing a business, nobody knows who you are, or nobody knows what your product is or your service. So I actually think that so many people quit far too early. And I think that's a problem.
Right. I agree. A lot of people quit, but I think when they first get into it, they think, I'm going to give this a year. I've got enough money to survive for a year. I could live without a job for 12 months. Let's see how a whole cycle plays out. So all of a sudden you get to that 13th month and it's like, okay, are we going to continue? Were we successful? Did our revenues go up? Because if they went down, probably time to bag it. But then you've got to, like Brad said, now you got a benchmark and a baseline. Okay, last February we did 10,000 in revenue. In December, we did 100,000. What are we going to do this February? Are we going to do 110, 120? And how's that going to happen? And then I think the biggest thing is now you have customers. Your first year, everything's all about getting customers. We got to get new customers. We got to get the word out there. Well, now you've got customers you have to take care of and hope that they come back a second time or become a subscriber or a member or whatever it might be. That's a whole different mentality. And you don't want to just completely shift. Now you got to do both. Get new customers, keep existing customers. So it becomes a whole lot more,
Do you find yourself
intriguing.
being as aggressive as you were year 1? Or can that aggressiveness bite you? Because look, you're having some success. Rinse and repeat. Don't be so aggressive. Or do you say, if you're still not pedal to the metal, then you're going to get complacent and you can run that risk.
No, it's a great question, Matt. And for me, I mean, you can ask a lot of people that have worked with me. It's always
throttle down the metal.
It's throttle down.
No brake, baby.
It's throttle down next year, and it's throttle down plus, right? It's throttle down plus. Then you get to year 3, and it's throttle down plus. You know, you're because what winds up happening is if you have a new product or service, competition starts creeping in,
right.
and maybe competition was there already. But let's say you opened a business or started a business in which, you know, you're the first in, right? And what you typically see is competition comes to the surface and you can't get complacent. I mean, you have to throttle down and you have to pump the gas, which is because they're gonna, if you think you're doing it by yourself or you're on your own or your company's the only one that's doing it, you're naive, because sooner or later there's going to be 2, 3, 5 other companies offering that. And so you've got to be thinking innovation, you got to be thinking creativity, and you got to be thinking, I've got to outwork, outsmart, out hustle the competition.
Sounded like Survivor there for an Outlast. So I agree.
No slow, man. No slowing down.
The competition also becomes an issue year 2. Because I'll give you a story. I think, you know, going in year 1, a lot of people start businesses because they see an opportunity in the market. Either a solution doesn't exist to a problem, or there's already somebody there, but they've gotten
a better solution.
Yeah, they've gotten fat, dumb, and lazy. So, you know, I won't use the Afghan business anymore because apparently no one here's ever seen an Afghan.
I mean, Brian's been going with
that.
You've been going. So this, I mean, this is a sidebar. He was talking about his Afghan business. Everybody knows that's like, it's a form of blanket. It's itchy. It's scratchy. No one likes it. I mean, go with beanbags. Go with
because we actually know a high exec at Google, and they did a research for us. And whenever Brian mentioned the Afghan business, searches went down by 200% for Afghans. So
on what is an Afghan?
Afghan business plummeted.
Right.
As Brian talked about Afghan. So for those of you that don't know what an Afghan is,
we'll show a picture of an Afghan.
It's not a person from Afghanistan. No. It's actually a scratchy blanket that doesn't even keep you warm.
And it's not a dickie.
No. It's an other
random piece of fabric.
A blanket, scratchy blanket made of yarn that Brian refers to from 30 years ago. And there's no market for it. So give up on the Afghan.
Did you hire him for your marketing? Is that what your problem is?
Yeah,
because I wanted to sell you a scratchy ball of yarn.
Went out of business so fast.
What it is.
So what do you move?
So anyway, our theoretical entrepreneur, he sees an opportunity. Ever since the Beanbag King put beanbags out of business, he's gotten fat, dumb, and lazy. And so his prices have gone up, quality's gone down. Beanbag King is now owns 100% of this market, but his prices have gone up, quality's gone down. He's not open nights and weekends. He doesn't have a drive-through. So young entrepreneur says, man, I can crush this guy. We can
drive-through beanbag business. You guys got to appreciate a drive-through beanbag business.
Well, if you're successful, you got to have a drive-through. So the young entrepreneur says, I can crush this guy. So that first year, it's all about stealing market share because you are open nights and weekends, and you got more options, and you've got the drive-through, and people can come late at night and take 2 beanbags. But second year, like Beanbag King isn't going to just sit there. What usually happens.
You mean beanbag.
No, that's who he put out of business was Beanbag. Now it's just Beanbag King is the only one left. So I don't know what the new guy's business is called. I didn't come up with that.
Beanbags are us.
Beanbags are us. There we go. See, now he's on board. But Beanbag King, the fat, dumb, and lazy guy who had 100% of the market share, usually at this point when a new competitor just storms into the market, they're either going to sell and say, all right, I'm done. I've run my course. I'm happy. And the new guy taking over is going to make some changes. And or Beanbag King's going to get that kick in the ass and go, oh, I got to get back to, to your point, what was my core business? What made me successful early on? So all of a sudden, you had that easy, first year of just stealing market share from somebody. Now all of a sudden they come back at you and you realize nothing you did is unique. He could stay open nights and weekends. He could lower his prices. He could put in a drive-through. Now what do you have that's unique and sustainable and scalable? So I see that a lot with people don't pay attention to their competitors. And whether they're creating a new market and competitors are going to follow, like Brad said, that's what happened to VHT. We didn't have any competitors. After the first year, we had like 10. Or you're stealing market share from somebody who's gotten fat, dumb, and lazy, and then all of a sudden they get the wake-up call.
I'd argue his point about the competition, though. I'm not gonna change what I believe is my.
I'm just saying, be aware of the competition.
Are you talking about the Beanbag King or Beanbags Are Us? Which one are you?
No, he's talking about he was talking about like the competition comes in with something that's different or innovative and starts taking business from them. And I don't necessarily say
that's not what I was saying, though. I was saying the entrepreneur's done something different, and now the competition copies you. So you had a free run for 12 months.
Okay.
Don't assume year 2 is going to be just as easy, because now the competitors are going to fast follow.
So is your story, in all seriousness, story about beanbags, or Beanbags Are Us? Which story are you telling? Are you talking about the fat lazy guy who got complacent? That's a tale of woe. Or are you talking about the competition?
New guy who just started up?
And so, give me the takeaways from each perspective.
Right. So
pretend that someone from each perspective is watching. So break down each one.
Yeah. So fat, dumb, and lazy. Beanbag King
should have.
Well, year 1's not going to be a repeat, meaning year 2 is going to be more challenging because there are now additional
players stepping up to the market. Right. Yep. So the guy who's been in the market forever and gotten fat, dumb, and lazy, I mean, that's the Brad's point. You've got to continue to innovate. You've got to continue to do things, because someone will see you as a big fat hog opportunity and come in, some young startup. For the young startup, it's, you could steal a lot of market share, but at some point, either the incumbent or someone else is going to come in and go head to head. So don't just say, well, this is what we did the first year, now let's double it for the second year. It's not going to be that easy. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make.
And that's what I thought. I thought your story actually gave advice to both sides, and it did. You gave a story.
I didn't intend to give fat, dumb, and lazy any advice, but
you did,
Exactly. You have to keep the pedal to the metal in year 2. You have to have the throttle down, because if you do rest on, we were successful year 1, we don't have to work very hard. The business is going to come our way. That's where you're naive. That's where you think you've got it wrong. I mean, there's going to be somebody else that's going to be competing for your space. And so I would spend my time working in year 2. I'd be spending my time on, all right, how do we get our message reinforced? How do we get more people out there knowing that we're here and that we're selling and we have this great product? It can't just be, well, we had great sales in year 1, so we're going to have great sales in year 2. You've got to do something different. You got to do something. And so I would typically call meeting together with my team and say, okay, we're actually been around. We've baseline. We know where our
we made it. We survived a year,
and which is a big thing. Year 1 is a big survival, right? I mean, you got to survive and prove yourself, right, and then establish a baseline. But then it becomes, all right, going into year 2. What are we going to do different? How are we going to act? What actions are we going to take?
What are we going to do more of? What are we going to do less of?
Yes.
What did we learn from year 1?
But for you to assume that year 2, it's going to be the same thing as year 1 and business is going to grow the same and you can expect the same results. No, don't think that, because the reality is something's going to come up. Something's going to, let's just talking competition. Something's going to come up, right? But the reality is now you have baseline. You have details, or you have data that suggests, okay, what worked at different parts of the year, whatever your business is. There's seasonality to business. There's
seasonality is a big learning. How did we do during Memorial Day weekend? How did we do over 4th of July? How did we do in Thanksgiving and Christmas?
How did we miss the traffic at this time of the year when everybody says this is the time when everybody's buying? Like, could we do anything different at that time? So there are things you want to repeat. As Brian said, rinse and repeat. But there's also things where you say, wow, we missed the mark here. We got to get back to the drawing board and figure out, how do we capitalize on that opportunity?
If you're investors, and you both have been investors, and a business is struggling, getting close to year 1, Brian, you mentioned, year 1, give it quits. Do you want the company to say, just keep proving out the model, let's hang longer? Or do you want the owner to say, no, I'm going to do something drastic to try to get us on business? You're already...
Go ahead. I heard where you're going with that. Yeah. No, I'd want them to prove out the model. You don't want to exhaust every. If I believed in the model enough to invest, I want to see it played out. I want to see you do the things we said we were going to do for a year, because you never know when you're going to get that breakthrough opportunity, when that first big customer is going to walk through the door or place an order or something. Stick to your guns, to Brad's point, focus on your, competitive advantage, whatever it is, and hammer it. I think one of the things that you really get out of year one is you learn a lot more about your customers. You learn, where they are, like how to reach them. What advertising to use, what promotions to use, what messaging to use, language to use, what type of salespeople to use. That's one of the biggest learnings I always saw in year one that you could apply to year two to be much more efficient, more effective, get more bang for your buck in terms of marketing and advertising. Even just what events to participate in and what things to sponsor in town, or what trade shows to go to. Your first year, you try everything. And it's
okay to do customer surveys. I mean, right. even if it's a one-time buy from you, what did you like about ABC?
I would.
What was frustrating about the ABC beanbag experience? Why would you come back to ABC beanbag again? I mean, you got to find that stuff out. And for you to just sit in, a conference room by yourself or with some of your leaders and say, well, we know why they did. You don't. Go to the customers, ask them, find out. It doesn't have to be some 15, 20 page or 20 question survey. Ask a 3-question survey. Make it really simple. Whether you have an online application, whether you have a bricks and mortar store, whatever it is, just ask, get feedback, because that feedback will help you kind of steer the next year, the next initiative, the next promotion. They'll tell you if you ask.
Yeah, I love that. And we took a lot of notes because I don't have a great memory. And you get around to that next February and it feels like you've been at it for 6 years. And you're like, what did we do last February? It's like, we went to that such and such event. It's like, well, was it successful? Did we learn anything? Are we going to go again this year? And then one last thing that I think is really important in year two is you got to relook at your expenses, because a lot of things will have snuck in during that first year. And now all of a sudden, you realize, boy, we were spending $10,000 a month when we started, and we're spending $100,000 now. We hired this person, we signed this subscription, we bought this thing, we installed this. It's like, okay, now I'm on the hook for a lot more money than I was when I started.
I asked this question last year, so I'm going to re-ask it. You're starting a business.
Season two
has new questions because we have new viewers.
Well, season one was just a week ago, and now it's season two. How about that?
Long time. That's forever ago. It was like 6 years ago.
It's like New Year's. It's January 1st. I haven't done anything this year. January 1st. When you're building a budget you're just starting a business, how much padding do you have to put in to go, I think this is what the budget's going to be, but I have no idea. I should say no idea.
For year one or year two?
Year one, brand new entrepreneur. To Brian's point, relook at your expenses because things might have gotten higher. So going back to looking at year one, how much padding you putting into that? I guess I'm going back to year one. But
well, if you're starting year one, you're on a zero-based budget, right? You're starting with nothing, and you're saying, what do I need to do to market? What do I need to do to advertise? What staff do I need? Do I need space to market the service?
So how much error are you putting into those numbers?
Well, right now, I mean, it's just you're putting your best guesstimate out, right, from a zero base. Now, when you get to year two, you could say, I'm going to use
how much things cost.
I'm going to baseline budget. I'm going to look back and say, all right, now I spent, to Brian's point, we talked in season one about budgeting, which is, now you get to year two and you say, we spent $30,000 in marketing. Okay. Did we like our sales results? Did we see enough revenue? Do we think we spent too much in one area or another? And if the answer is yes, okay, well, what are we going to pivot? What are we going to do different? That's what you're doing, is you're looking at your year one baseline, your year one actuals, and saying,
you're analyzing, you're learning, you're applying.
What are we going to change? What worked? What didn't work? And so to answer your question, get back to year one, year zero. You're starting at zero, and you got to literally just build it from the ground up and say, what do I think I should spend on this? But keep in mind that whatever you spend on X, Y, or Z, you only have so much cash in the bank, right? So if you go, well, I'm going to hire 3 customer service people. Okay, well, it may be $35,000, $40,000 a year salary. It's $120,000 for 3 customer service people. what did you start with your budget? Because if you got 150, you just spent 120,000 of your 150 on 3 heads. You have $30,000 left for marketing and sales, right? So you got to really use your head from a zero-based budget year 1. Year 2, you're looking back at actuals, establishing your baseline, and then going from there.
By your side, 16 years, VHT, how long? That was
25.
25, and I know you've done other businesses. Do you both look back at year 2 of those businesses and go, very important year?
I do.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a year of survival. Year 1 was survival. It was validating what I thought would work, which was really important because it was a sense of pride. It was a sense of like, this actually happened like I thought it would, or like meaning we're still here and we're growing. So it worked like we thought it would, but we have a lot of work to do. We have a boatload of work to do because now we've started to grow and we got to get more word out there. There's competition coming in. People still don't know who we are. We have to establish a bigger budget. We have more staff. There's a lot more to think about, but it was a very exciting time. Very exciting.
Yeah, because I think a big decision factor going into year 2 is, do I have a foundation? Do I have something that works that I can count on, that I can build on now and start, I'm going to try and do more sales, or I'm going to try and do more marketing, or, I'm going to expand into a different location or something. That's what really gives you that confidence, is we made it through year 1. We learned some things. We have a foundation for year 2. And
I got a question
and
for you.
they got to set some goals for year 2.
I got a question for you. Do you think that Alec and Billy Baldwin could have answered these questions?
No, you know what? Not that. First of all, nobody.
You were really cocky.
I was. And I'm going to say, of all the people that I wanted to come and replace you, none of them would have come up with beanbags. So
if that's the only thing you took from this episode, then I think we need to replace the host, Brian.
and beanbags are. Wait a second.
Hey, we can find a host that would care more about our beanbag business.
Hey, somewhere some beanbag shop owner is going, drive-through. Why didn't we think of that? Why didn't we think of that?
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for a new season. For those who are just new for the ride, for those who have subscribed, Studio A.
This is going to be exciting. Season 2 is going to be like a roller coaster ride. Yeah, we're much closer now. Look at that. We need a snack tray or something up here.
Season 3.
Relax.
Bust the budget, huh?